Welcome back to the Future Self podcast. Almost a change of topic, and I really want to pick your brain on this. It's a 3-phase question. For a beginner, what are the most important basics to start?
For a beginner in what, the fitness journey?
Yeah, someone wanting to start their journey, they maybe haven't entered a gym, or they don't know anything about food, or they just don't know anything about self-respect.
Complete beginner.
Complete beginner.
Wow. Okay. It's going to take a lot longer than they think. If they do fall over, make a mistake, that's all part of the process. Just keep going and get back on track. I think most of these guys, they don't understand that the failure aspect of the thing is completely normal. I've failed 1,000 times, but I don't really see it as fail. I just see it as a learning process, and I just shake it off and go again. Try and not judge myself as much. I definitely wouldn't compare your journey to anyone else's. Of course, it's all good. Oh, I want to look like this guy, but you don't know how hard he's had to work. You don't know how many years he's been in the gym and how dedicated he is. I think you just need to take it a step at a time. I think start with the basics. Essentially, don't try and overdo it and come on a program and try and do it 7 days a week or anything like that, or try and follow a strict diet. Just make some healthier choices. Just get the cogs moving, and progressively you'll start to feel better, and you'll start to see the changes where after you've seen some changes, you'll be bought into why we do what we do, why we feel so much better when we eat healthier foods and good whole nutritious quality produce. And try and get a gym buddy, try and change the environment, train with someone who is on a similar journey to you, and make a commitment together. I think it's easy to commit with a training partner. Right, we're going to show up at the gym at this time, because if you're late one day, the other person's waiting and they're like, come on, we need to do this together. I think that's very good. A community aspect. Maybe do some classes, jump into some classes, because again, it's a different type of environment. You're not just in the gym on your own. It can be boring sometimes. Go with friends, go to a gym with classes. That's definitely a good thing to do. Yeah.
Phase 2, for someone who is seemingly doing the right things but not seeing much change, what's your advice for that? Seemingly in maybe quotations.
Yeah, it's what degree, isn't it? If they seem to be doing the right things but they're not getting the results, they need to ask for help, I would suggest. Because you need to see progress. You need to see growth. If you don't see growth, you feel like you're going backwards. So if you're not seeing the growth in some ways, ask for help. Reach out to someone. You need to change things up, because the motivation will only last for so long. And I don't think they're at that point where they're resourceful enough, they're disciplined enough, they've got that mindset of we just keep going, that I would definitely ask for help. Like for me, I've worked with a lot of mentors that it's propelled me forward at light speed. I'm way ahead of so many other people because I dropped the pride, I dropped the ego, I asked for help. And because I did that at such a young age, it's worked tenfold with me. And now people in the industry follow what I do and work with the coaches that I've worked with, thinking they're going to get the result. They're not going to get the result that I've got, but at least they're going to try or do somewhat similar. I'm not trying to, I'm saying that because it's very hard to do what I've achieved. Do you know what I mean? But people can still admire to go down that path. But I'm always looking for new coaches, as in like mentors. Always looking for different people. I've worked with a guy just recently and that ended, and I've learnt a lot, and now I nearly saw a guy who's in Bali at the moment who I've been following. He's in the same gym, a lot older, very successful. And I saw him here the other day and I was like, you know what, I'll message him. And I messaged him. So it's, if you're struggling, you're not seeing results, you need to make a change immediately. Drop the pride, drop the ego. I look at people in the gym and they're massive, overweight, and I'm like, dude, you've been in the gym for like a year and you've not changed. Like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you actually invest? I can't I can't stand the idea of these people flashing, walking around in all this designer clobber and clothes when you'd look 10 times better in a white t-shirt if you were fit and healthy and in shape. And then also I see the guys driving around in a nice Mercedes. Why have you got a Mercedes, bro? You should look after your body first, and you won't need to drive the Mercedes. And then they complain about signing up to a program which is a couple of grand, but then they've bought a 60 grand car. I call these people out. It's so bad. If you get on a call with me and I start asking you questions, they won't like it, mate. But I'm not there to be liked. Like, again, I'm not there to be their friend. And people, they look at the type of content I do a lot of the time, and it's very full on. It's like I say things that are unfiltered, that I'm not meant to please you, bro. I want to help you, and that's going to come at a price. You don't respect people who are snowflake coaches. You respect people like myself who tell it how it is, and you think, oh shit, that hurts. What am I going to do? They go one way or the other. They go, oh, you know what, he is right. Or they go, oh, you know what, fuck George, he's a prick. No, I'm not a prick, mate. I just have your best interests at heart, that family members around you, friends, colleagues, don't actually want the best for you. Sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent then.
No, love it. Anti-echo chamber.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Yeah. A great coach is an anti-echo chamber.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I looked at your Instagram and fucking loved it. But that's, I guess, the inner work I've done to thrive off what you're posting, because things at face value are very important to me. I'll have conversations with my mum where we'll talk about hypotheticals, and I'll always just, but before she's even done expressing it, call it out and be like, I don't have the brain power for a hypothetical. Like, let's just talk what it actually is.
Truths.
Yeah, truths, honesties, and straight ups.
Yeah.
That is super, super important. My way to recap for that intermediate would be learn to be real with yourself. And more times than not, that comes from working with someone, because they're making cues and calls without the emotional filter or lens that you're seeing through. I picked up a few recent individuals who have been going to the gym for 2 or 3 years and stayed the exact same. And I just made certain calls. You don't fucking lift heavy. You don't track properly. You don't stay consistent. You don't do this. You don't do that. Being real with yourself is, I think, where that progress comes from, because results don't lie, right? If you're doing the right things, the returns will come. The speed of it, I guess, is where the skill of being a good coach comes in, knowing maybe the right thing to program or that's a little bit better, but being real with yourself is super important. Phase 3. What are some of the 1%ers for the advanced individuals they could implement to make a difference?
1% is sleep. Improve on the sleep. I think that's like the sleep. Your sleep is the best pre-workout. You won't need caffeine. You won't need all these high stim energy drinks. Just get your sleep dialed in, and it'll make a tremendous improvement. Like, I was someone who just didn't prioritize sleep, building my business, and it had a knock-on effect on my health. But now I really try and prioritize sleep. So I think sleep is overlooked. Really try and focus on that. Also, another good one is breath work. I think breath work has been life-changing for me. It's just 15, 20 minutes and it'll change your state. It'll probably change your state, I think, like no other thing in such a short period of time. It's just boom, wow, I'm out of a negative mindset straight away. I just like, wow, that's amazing. So if you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, if you feel yourself having to have a difficult conversation with someone, pull yourself out of it for 20 minutes, take a break, do some breath work, come back, and you'll have a completely different perspective. Also, journaling, writing down your thoughts is good. And all these things are great, but if you're not at this point in your journey, then maybe just start with like breath work. Just the simplest thing. Just, you don't have to jump in the ice bath. You don't have to do the sauna. And just start with maybe training, eating healthy, and breath work. But you did say advanced, so let's recap. Supplements, yeah, getting your blood work done. I get my blood work done every quarter. If you really want to be advanced, learn what your body actually needs. I spent a lot of money last month on getting my blood work done in Bali. It cost nearly two grand Oz just to get my blood work done. But I know how important it is.
Yes.
I've got the money to do it. If you're someone else, try and get your blood work done in Bali. Very difficult to the extent of the full spectrum of blood work. You could get your blood work done, but you're not going to go as deep. For someone else, just get your blood work and spend maybe a couple of $100 on that, which is fine to start with. But if you want to do a deep dive, you want to get your blood work done ASAP. If you're a successful person and you're not got your blood work done, I think you're missing out on a massive opportunity to understand what's going wrong. I had my blood work done, and I'm having a conversation with some really high level individual off YouTube, and I've paid him 1,800 USD for a 40-minute conversation. And people might think, wow, this guy's crazy. But these are I'm at that point now where I will invest, because it is an investment. I will speak to the best people in the world because I can. I wasn't at that point last time. I would have to get my blood work done and then research and then understand my profile of testosterone, lipids, and all these things. Yeah, it's a complete no-brainer if you somewhat have the cash. Even if you don't, save up and invest in blood work, because that's probably the best bang for your buck, I would say. Yeah.
What's your opinion on things such as 8 sleep, eye mask, mouth taping, nose taping?